have you been surprised, Quaker, with this kind of recent upturn in form for Newcastle?
I have, and I think Eddie Howe deserves a lot of credit. People maybe thought that season when they finished in the top 4 was the one season wonder, and they were under a lot of pressure in the summer. Didn't get the girl he signed over the line, had to sell Minter, had to sell Elliot Anderson as well, and it didn't look great at Newcastle. And I was saying to some of my mates who are Arsenal fans, I was like, right now where they're on their knees when it comes to PSR, test their result when it comes to Alexander Isak. Throw out 18, 90 million. See what they say to that. I know it's a difficult deal.
They'll sell anyone else before they sell Isaac.
It's difficult to get a deal over the line.
How much is he worth? For me, by the way, I think he's the best centre forward in the Premier League by an absolute mile.
At least 120.
120.
Yeah, easily.
Easily. And even then, they'll probably go to 150.
See, I think, by the way, I think he is like on a different level to Haaland. His all round. I genuinely think comfortably best centre forward in the league. I think his all round game is better than Haaland's. I think he's got a lot more better attributes to his game individually than what Erling Haaland's got. I think he's a better finisher. I think his movement's better. I think his hold up play's better.
You think he's a better finisher than Haaland?
Yeah, 100%. I think in goal, through on goal, 1-on-1, I think his composure, I think he's better than Haaland. Yeah, definitely.
No, I would take Haaland every day of the week. Like, I agree. I think as an all, like, Isak can play on the wing. Like, I think as a player, as like a dribbler, all these different attributes, I think yes, he is better. But I think if I want a goal-scoring striker, I'm taking Erling Haaland every day of the week.
I think the only thing Haaland's better at than Isak is, I think, in the air. He's a lot more powerful than Isak. I think Isak's got better movement.
He does not have better finishing than Haaland.
I think his hold up. Isak in front of goal is dynamite. He's absolutely
really good.
mustard.
He's really
absolutely
good.
mustard.
But Erling Haaland,
and something else you see him do it with Newcastle is so often you'll see him create chances, create shots out of absolutely nothing.
Sure.
And I don't think Erling Haaland does that.
But that's not Erling Haaland's job.
I do appreciate that, but one thing I think you put Isak into that Man City team, Isak scores as many goals as Haaland. Yes, he does. Are you joking me?
He doesn't.
Why
he doesn't.
No, because the thing is,
why not? Why not, Zach?
Erling Haaland, Isak. I agree. I think he's a fantastic striker. I don't want what I'm saying to go against him. But I think some of Erling Haaland's finishes. We're in a period where Man City aren't doing it well, so it's very easy to go.
No. We'll go back to last season then.
Then why didn't Isak? Isaac's still exceptionally young, right? He's injury prone, which is also a huge issue at times for him as well. Like there are times where he can be out for a while, which has affected Newcastle up top. I think in terms of, I agree that I just don't think he would have broken the goal scoring record at Manchester City.
I strongly, completely, 100% disagree. I think playing in that Man City team with the chances they create and the chances they get put on a player, there is no doubt in my mind.
He's too much of an involved player.
I appreciate that. But Alexander Isak, I am absolutely adamant would have scored as many goals. But then what would be interesting is, would Erling Haaland have had the same effect in the Newcastle team?
No, see, I agree that I think Isak is more beneficial to Newcastle than Erling Haaland would be, but Erling Haaland is in the perfect place for him at Manchester City.
Yeah.
Like, he's in a team where they create all these opportunities for him to score. At Newcastle, they need Isak to help with that kind
hold
of
up play, link up play.
Yeah, link up play, passing it around.
Just look at the pure numbers of it, right? And I know you said that
Haaland's playing for Man City. Obviously, Haaland's going to have more numbers than obviously. That goes without saying, Quaker.
But Haaland in his first season broke the Premier League record. I know you say Isak could do it, but we haven't seen it. We've never seen it until Haaland done it. And then in a bad season for Erling Haaland last year, people said a chance there.
James Maddison whipping a ball 25 yards outside of the box on the left-hand side, just went wide.
People said that Erling Haaland had a bad season last year. He still scored 27 league goals in a bad year. People say Erling Haaland's fallen off a cliff this season. Still scored the same amount, more goals than Isak. And that's him falling off a cliff. Erling Haaland's floor is where Isak's ceiling is. Erling Haaland is a different...
Isak's floor, say that again?
Erling Haaland is a different kettle of fish. Erling Haaland is going to be talked about amongst the pantheon of footballing greats when his career is done. Alexander Isak is a great striker.
He might be spoken about in that way one day. You don't know.
Erling Haaland?
No, Isak.
Maybe.
You don't know.
Maybe.
Alexander Isak, and I don't mean to say...
Does Isak outscore Haaland at Arsenal? So Isak's playing for Arsenal.
Yeah, 100%.
He outscores Haaland.
You think that? He outscores...
100%.
We're talking about City, like Pomp City. We're not talking about City right now.
I'm absolutely convinced. Everything I've watched of Alexander Isak has come to the Premier League. I think he's got all of the attributes to be one of the very best strikers. So you put that boy in that Man City team. I think he genuinely can match all the numbers that Erling Haaland could do.
Oh, Spurs on the break.
I can't take another.
Brennan Johnson across goal. It's Sod. Back across goal, hasn't gone in. Johnson smashes the ball across goal from the right-hand side. It works its way all the way to the other side, where Son then flings the ball back across goal. and nobody can get on the end of it.
Oh,
Spurs might get something out of this, by the way. The
They
last
need
like
to.
10
Spurs
minutes has
aren't playing
all been
badly here, by
Spurs.
the way.
Where's Isaac now?
where is he?
Quick, I mean, look, again, look, I think we both. This isn't me not rating Haaland, and this is not you not rating Isak.
Agreed.
But I just think so. I want to make it perfectly clear that this is not in any way, shape, or me trying to put Haaland down because he's a freak, and I agree with that. The point I'm just making is that I genuinely think Isak's that good that if he was to get a move to a team competing for the Premier League, that he could then be spoken about on that same level.
So those players are the same age.
No, better. Okay. So producer Jamie's then saying I said that he's better. I always think as an all-round game,
all-round game, yes.
All-round game.
I agree with that.
All-round game. But what Haaland?
So you agree with me?
But no,
all-round game is better than Haaland.
But what Haaland's superpower outstrips what Isak can do. Haaland is the best goal scoring. Erling Haaland at Borussia Dortmund was scoring more than a goal a game in the Champions League.
And I actually think
let's not forget that he was doing that.
And that kind of team suits Haaland better. When Haaland can have balls over the top that he can run onto and like bully defenders, we're not actually seeing that a lot at Man City now. He's having to be a poach box in the box striker when he's allowed to kind of run onto a ball and bully a defender. I think that's his absolute best, and he was doing that a lot more at Dortmund than he is at Man City. If you're Real Madrid, right? You're Real Madrid, and I'm going, okay, we need a striker. Ignore that, ignore they've got Vinicius Junior and Mbappe. Ignore that. We need a striker. You get either Isaac or you get Haaland for that team. Who you buying?
I'd personally go Alexander Isak.
They'll be very happy you're not in charge of recruitment.
Well,
it would be Haaland.
It's not a bad buy.
It's not a bad buy. It's a great buy.
He is a great buy. He is a great striker, but I don't think there is a conversation at the minute. You still pick Haaland.
Okay, and I'm sure majority of people would do.
Okay, for Liverpool, who would you pick?
I would love. I think for what we do and the style of what we play, I think Alexander Isak would be perfect for Liverpool.
Who would you pick for Chelsea?
For Chelsea, Haaland. Come on, man! Like from Salzburg to Dortmund to Man City. Haaland scoring 1-in-1 in not just the league but in the Champions League as well. For Norway, 1-in-1. Like Sam, I understand Isak is the flavour of the month right now. I understand Isak.
And he is a great striker.
I've said this I promise you, I can bring up tweets from years ago. I've said this for a long time.
He's a great
ever since he's come to the Premier League.
Just to reiterate, for Liverpool, you would still pick Isak.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
okay. So they obviously would you say Newcastle and Dortmund? Same-ish level. You say Dortmund? You think Newcastle's lower than Dortmund?
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, 100%.
I'd say now I don't think Dortmund are that great. But anyway, let's say, right, so at Dortmund, Haaland played 24 games in the league, 22 goals. He played 28 games in the league, 27 goals. Like, we're not seeing Isak do that.
Okay, well, his numbers here. I mean, his numbers at Newcastle are 43 and 69, and you've got to appreciate this is a Newcastle team that aren't as strong as your Man Cities, and those numbers are still incredibly impressive.
But we're talking about
those numbers aren't to be sniffed at. I've never said he scored as many goals as Haaland in his career. I'm absolutely aware of that.
I agree.
You've also got to put into context what Isak's playing with, and it's not on the same level as what Haaland's been playing with.
I do see that point. I do feel,
certainly at Dortmund and Man City.
I do feel like if he, this is no disrespect to Newcastle, but I think if he was at Arsenal, we probably would. I wouldn't probably be talking about him in the same way that we just spoke about the Haaland thing. But I think that he'd be more in terms of a conversation of elevating his level. If he was at Arsenal,
was to make that step up
if he
to
was
a team
at Chelsea,
competing for the league, and he was getting more chances, scoring more goals, he was doing it in the Champions League.
But he is.
Then of course,
but then what we haven't seen, how does Isak do? So he's playing for these teams. How does Isak do now when it's a low block? You're not actually getting these clear-cut chances where I think we all love seeing Isak running one-on-one at the keeper or having these abilities where he can run at a defender. That's not happening as much at these teams.
Yeah.
You're being asked to be this poach box striker. And to be fair, he did it today. He did it today. What his goal for Newcastle?
Finish. He scores all types of goals.
He does. But it's a different game playing for these teams as well. Yes, you get chances, you do, but they're also a lot tougher as well at times. You have two defenders on you all the time. Your man marked all the time. I think it is. I just think because of the season Man City are having, we are having these kind of conversations a little bit more.
I also think as well, when you're talking about these sort of strikers, I think sometimes you look stylistically kind of almost what you might prefer.
Yeah, 100%,
and I think Isak's
100%.
a sort of player where I love centre forwards that've got real quick movement, that run in behind. I think his finishing is a bit more crisper than Erling Haaland's, in my opinion. And Erling Haaland's, I think, a different type of striker to Isak. I think stylistically, I maybe just prefer that sort of. Like, Isak reminds me a lot of Thierry Henry. And growing up as a kid, he was my favourite number 9 to watch in terms of the way he would play.
Like the brutal impact of Haaland, like the strength, the amount of power he gets behind some of his shots.
But Isak does. I think Isak. We watched a game here against Liverpool where he got the ball pinged into his feet, one touch out, when he pinged the ball past Keller.
What I will say as well is that, like, in favour of Alexander Isak, is that if he went to a team like Arsenal, he was incredible in putting up numbers. He's the kind of player that would win the Ballon d'Or. I'm telling you for a fact, Erling Haaland will never win the Ballon d'Or because of the style of play, because of the way he plays football. Bear in mind, his first season at Man City, he won the treble, top scorer in the league, top scorer in the Champions League.
Yeah, but he should have won it.
But he didn't.
But they gave it to Messi, didn't they?
But I guarantee you, if he was a player,
he should have.
If he was a player that was more aesthetically pleasing and put up those numbers, if he was a player like Alexander Isak or played in a style of football that people actually like to watch, you're giving him that award.
But that's just down to personal preference, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, for sure. That is definitely personal preference. I'm not saying that Isak's better. I think Haaland's better, but I think there is.
I genuinely think, honestly, you asked me about Liverpool and who I would have. I genuinely think that if you're looking for a centre forward, because I look at what Liverpool are doing now. Hear me out.
I kind of agree.
So Luis Diaz right now, in the last couple of games, has played as the number 9, right, the centre forward. Yeah. He's being asked a lot to kind of come deep, to start attacks. I genuinely think, from a Liverpool point of view, my number 9, who I want to get involved in play and link play, I think Alexander Isak for Liverpool, I genuinely think is a more complete and all-round striker than Erling Haaland. And of course, I think we're forgetting as well that Alexander Isak in front of goal is lethal as well. I do see your point. I need to make this perfectly clear. This isn't me saying Haaland isn't, because those numbers are ridiculous. But Isak in front of goal, and in a team where we'd have more chances, more opportunities, more tap-ins, he
missed a tap-in earlier. He missed a tap-in against earlier.
But what I also will say is that...
Am I wrong, Kwaku, about Liverpool?
No, for Liverpool...
Am I wrong,
I actually agree. For Liverpool, I agree. I go for Isaac. But for Liverpool...
He's managed to convince you.
I mean, you've got to call him Isak, not Isaac,
I
by
would
the
have
way.
said that beforehand. Isak, yeah. I actually agree for Liverpool, yes. But I think it's still, individually... Haaland is a better striker.
And you might be right, but look at the expectation on Erling Haaland. We are saying he's having a terrible season. He scored 14 league goals. Isak, I don't know if he's on that number yet, but he's having a great season. So a bad season for Erling Haaland.
He's on 12.
There we go. He's on 2 less goals than Erling Haaland. It's a bad season for Haaland. What are we talking about?
Haaland doesn't score for 3 games. Everyone goes, "Oh my god, this is
like what they used to Harry Kane.
Yeah,
they used to say the same thing.
Exactly. Whereas Isaac at times can go. He can go a couple of games.
How did you manage to get Harry Kane in this conversation? We're talking about players that win things. We're talking about players that actually affect winning.
Harry Kane or Erling Haaland?
Sorry, shut you up, didn't it? What's Alexander Isak one? Don't ever be rude about Harry Kane.
He's 24 years old.
I'm surprised. I'm going to come to you quick. I'm surprised at how much you're playing down Isak.
I
absolutely you look at me with disgust that I'm suggesting Isak is.
I love Alexander Isak. I think if Arsenal would have signed Isak, they probably would win the league.
100% agree.
But Erling Haaland is a phenomenon. Erling Haaland, we have never seen anything like this before. Erling Haaland came to the Premier League and broke the goal scoring record and won the treble, top scored in the Champions League.
Can't even take that. You can't even forget about that.
That is City were doing ridiculous things before Haaland rocked up as well. They finished on 100 points for argument's sake before Haaland rocked up.
But Erling Haaland destroyed Man City in the Champions League, and that's when he's playing for a lesser Dortmund side. Again. Erling Haaland has, every time everyone says he plays for a better good team though, Erling Haaland has done this at a smaller team and looked very, very, very impressive every single time. I think this is someone who we have this effect. There's certain players where I think you get so used to seeing them play so well time after time after time that you kind of get used to it, and you always think, oh yeah, of course Erling Haaland scored. Like, of course he's done this, of course he's done that. And then you look at the end of the season, he's nearly on 30 goals, and you're like, oh my god!
And you went back to the Dortmund. Let's just go back to Red Bull Salzburg
against Liverpool.
At Salzburg in the Champions League, his goal scoring record was 8 goals in 6 games for Salzburg.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We're talking about a different caliber of player.
I see what you mean in terms of having someone that is maybe better in terms of the link-up play. Like I think with City, obviously, when they had Alvarez, he did a lot of that work that Haaland didn't need to do.
That's also not Haaland's job.
That's not his job, exactly. It's not like you are that type of team where you had to drop deep and be that type of player. He does something different for Newcastle that Haaland would do for City, but I still think in the argument, if you're taking one or the other, and that's not to say that Alexander Isak isn't an unbelievable striker, he is, and definitely deserves a move to a top 4 club.
And he's going to
and he'll get it. But I think that you still take Erling Haaland, and it's easy to forget about those accolades, because they're a couple of seasons ago, and you look at City now.
I'm not forgetting about Haaland. Is ridiculous.
But
I don't disagree with. I'm just saying I think a more all-round, a more complete, a more all-round number 9. I'm going Alexander Isak.
Just look at the price tag though. Isak will say 120 mil. What's Haaland going for? Like you can't. There's no money in the world that you can sign Erling Haaland for unless he goes on the free. Like
what do you reckon? Like
180?
180?
Yeah.
200?
Yeah.
Close to. Definitely
Yeah.
place D.
Do you think he'd win the Ballon d'Or if he went to Madrid?
Nah.
No, you
Probably-
still don't fancy
It'd probably
him.
end up being Mbappe, wouldn't it, or
Yeah,
something?
probably. Or
Why are you
Vinny.
so sure Haaland's
Yeah.
not going to win the Ballon d'Or?
Because when you have a year like he had a couple of seasons ago, where you break the goal scoring record and you win the Champions League, and you don't win the Ballon d'Or that year.
Messi shouldn't have got that.
Yeah, Messi shouldn't have, but you're never going to top that.
That was a romantic one, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
It was
Not
like,
really-
it was like
not
a couple
really
of
fair,
seasons
though.
before when Lewandowski should have won it.
yeah.
Like,
Look, anyone else have? Do you know what I mean? Look, I'm reading articles. I'm looking at comments on social media. And I think you guys will be surprised at maybe how more people think Isak is not as clear cut as what
I'm not
as what you
surprised.
guys. Well, to be fair, Zach,
But
you
if
kind
we
of-
said this- if we
you
said
started, you started with Haaland, then you kind of backtracked a little bit, didn't you?
So
throughout
have
it?
It's
you,
not
cheek of
backtracking.
it.
What did I backtrack?
You went all out saying
you actually said
You
you
said
said
he's-
he is flat out better
you
than
actually
Haaland in
did.
everything.
and they'll clip that. So when you listen to it
You said
back,
he has
you'll
better
remember.
finishing than
And
Haaland.
I'm standing by that. I'm not backtracking anything.
Sounded like you did a little bit.
I said, I literally just 5 seconds ago, all round, I'm having Isak
Can't
over
call Zach
Haaland.
out for it.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Sorry.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you,
Sorry.
Abby.
Sorry.
Excuse me, I like
It's-
that.
it's-
She hosts one show and she thinks she's.
Oh, I forgot.
she's
Yeah,
50%.
we can't say.
I
anything.
made it perfectly clear. I'm Isak over Haaland, and I'm saying that right
That's
now.
absolutely
so I'm
fine.
not back.
There seemed like a little bit.
When
then.
did I backtrack?
Just a little
But
bit.
with the context-
Just a little bit.
You're the biggest
Just a
backtracker
little
in the
bit.
studio.
Am I?
100%.
What have I backtracked on? I've been Ange in the whole time. We're about to have our 10th loss. I'm Ange in all
Well,
the
you
way.
can't. I mean, you know.
You genuinely have been unlucky, by the way, today.
I agree.
I actually think you've been kind of
But
unlucky.
I've looked at the table. 10 losses in a row. It doesn't look good, does it?
Does anyone?
I thought this was going to be a cricket
10
score.
losses.
And a 2-1 loss.
Well, you
to
can be
Newcastle.
2 for 1 in cricket, can't you? You know.
Yeah, true, yeah, true.
Solanke!
Oh.
Oh, it's onto the roof of the net. Anyone want to have the final word on Haaland or Isak? Or we finish with this?
It's
Haaland.
Erling Haaland. Come on, guys.
Okay, fine, whatever. There we go. We move.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.